In an eastern Ukraine village, 2 Abrams tanks lie in wait as a Russian brigade approaches. The Abrams waiting in that village, they're 60-ton machines, each worth $9 million. They have composite armor and a 120-millimeter cannon. 3 men inside each tank believe they're inside the most powerful war machine ever created by mankind. And for a brief moment, they're right. When the Russian brigade enters the village, the Abrahams open fire. The first shot destroys a fortified position. The second tank joins the attack. The Bradley fighting vehicles arrive soon after, firing 200 rounds per minute from their automatic cannons. A smokescreen covers the area. The Russian defensive lines give way. It looks like a classic victory. Superior firepower, perfect coordination, a predictable outcome. But while this is happening on the ground, something is watching from the sky. And that something costs only $400. First-person view drones, built in garages and piloted by operators miles away. They're changing 100 years of military doctrine, and most soldiers still haven't realized it. You see, on the same day as that battle with the Abrams, something different is happening. A few kilometers away, a Russian T-90M tank is advancing down the road. The T-90 is Russia's most modern tank. It has anti-drone metal mesh, reactive armor plates, and electronic warfare systems. That's $4.6 million. Brigade team, how far? $1 worth of military technology. But the drone operator already knows its weak spot. He finds a gap, a small opening, a half-open hatch. The drone doesn't need to destroy an entire tank. It just needs to reach where the ammunition is stored. And that's exactly what happens. The explosion is instantaneous. Fire bursts through the hatches, and the crew doesn't have time to get out. A $4.6 million tank is taken out by a $400 drone. And this isn't an isolated case. It's happening every day. Multiple times a day. Another Russian tank tries to protect itself. The crew welds chains under the hull. They believe this will block drones. The drone simply adjusts its angle of attack. The result, another tank destroyed. Another one features a $200,000 electronic warfare system designed to block drone radio signals. But the operator just waits 3 seconds for the system to recharge. 3 seconds is enough for the drone to pass through and drop a grenade into the hatch. Can you see a pattern here? The war is changing faster than tanks can adapt. Now, let me show you what happened to that Russian brigade I mentioned at the beginning. Because the 2 Abrams are just the beginning of the story. The brigade isn't small. 6 armored vehicles, 2 tanks, ammunition trucks, dozens of soldiers. The goal is to reinforce the front line. A simple resupply mission. But there's a problem with large convoys. The bigger the force, the bigger the target. They're detected even before they leave the base. Reconnaissance drones map the entire route, identify where the convoy will have to slow down, and mark the vulnerable points. The ambush is already set up. When the first vehicle starts to move, the Ukrainians don't attack immediately. They wait, let the convoy advance, let them enter the perfect kill zone. The lead tank is hit first, and first-person view drone scores a direct hit. The vehicle stops, blocking the road. The vehicles behind have nowhere to go. They're trapped in their own formation, and that's when the artillery starts. M777 cannons open fire. These aren't random shots. Each shell has precise coordinates, shared in real time by the drones. One hits an ammunition truck. The explosion is so big that it breaks windows from a great distance. More drones arrive. They attack the vehicles one by one. The smoke gets so thick that the Russian soldiers can hardly see anything ahead. In a few minutes, $30 million worth of equipment turns into smoldering scrap. No reinforcements reach the front line. That day, the mission fails completely. And the two Abrams that start this battle return to base, without a scratch. And you know what's even more impressive? This result didn't happen by chance. Most people think that winning these battles is as simple as having the strongest tank, but that's far from the truth. The advantage lies in coordination. First comes reconnaissance. Small, silent drones fly high. They observe everything, map routes, identify patterns, see where convoys usually stop, where they are vulnerable. Then comes the planning. Teams on the ground receive this information in real time, decide where to position the artillery, where the first-person view drones will wait, when to attack. Then comes the execution. The first attack blocks the target. The artillery then disrupts the formation. First-person view drones eliminate the individual vehicles. Anti-tank teams finish off anything that's left. There are 4 elements working together. The total cost is less than a single modern tank, but the effectiveness is devastating. And you know what's even more impressive? The people operating these drones aren't soldiers trained for years. Many of them were software engineers just a few months ago, programmers, designers, graphic artists. Today, Ukrainians can destroy a $4 million tank with a device that fits in a backpack. A drone operator summed up the current reality well, saying, "Before, to destroy a tank, you needed another tank. Now, you just need patience and a good angle." Patience. Because these teams spend days tracking a single convoy, sleep in short shifts, eat cold rations, and wait for the perfect moment. They study the terrain, every curve in the road, predict where the convoy will slow down, where it will be most vulnerable. One mistake means losing the drone, losing the opportunity, maybe losing your life if your position is discovered. But when it works, a team of 4 people can neutralize a force that used to require an entire battalion. Now, did you notice those tanks? 2 German Leopards are advancing along with the Abrams. They're 60-ton machines, pride of European engineering. One of them is hit. Flames engulf the hull. It seems like the end, but it's not. What you're seeing is the active protection system at work. The ammunition being burned in a controlled way, ejected before it explodes inside the tank. The crew gets out. Everyone is alive. Each one of them will return home. That's the difference between being inside a modern tank. And being in a Soviet steel coffin. Russian tanks lack this system, so when ammunition ignites, it explodes inside with the crew present. And speaking of Russian tanks, let me show you the truth about them. What you're seeing here is a T-90 moving down the road, completely protected, or at least the crew thinks so. The armored vehicle has a metal mesh on top, extra armor plates, and an electronic warfare system that's always on. But the drone operator noticed something. The front of the tank is unprotected. The crew was so concerned about protecting the top that they forgot about the front. The drone flies directly in, strikes, and the tank erupts into a fireball in seconds. All that extra protection, Weeks of work welding plates, hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment. None of that matters because there's a weak spot. In modern warfare, a weak spot is all a drone needs. And these attacks are happening all the time, day after day, in every sector of the front line. Zaporizhia, Donetsk, Luhansk, Siversk. That's it. Every tank that advances alone is at risk. Russia is losing tanks faster than it can replace them. Stop and think. It takes 3 years to build a T-90. A drone takes 3 days. This brutal math doesn't favor those who depend on tanks. And there's a statistic that shows this clearly. Volunteers donate money to make more. Improvised factories work 24 hours a day. It's a race between weight and agility, between tradition and innovation. To counter this new threat, the Russians are using electronic warfare systems. If this Russian convoy has escorts with these systems, they create a kind of bubble that blocks drone signals. In theory, this should protect the entire convoy. But the Ukrainian operators simply wait. They let the convoy pass, wait until the electronic warfare vehicles are at the front. Then they attack from the rear, where there is no protection. The result? The convoy was completely destroyed. The protection system is useless. What you just saw is a real-time adaptation. Find weaknesses. Exploit mistakes. Don't fight strength with strength. Fight intelligence with strength. And with each passing day, that intelligence gets sharper. Operators are experimenting with faster drones, long-range communications, swarm tactics, where multiple drones attack simultaneously. The Ukrainian volunteers who pilot these drones train daily and turn civilian skills into military tools. A programmer learns to control a combat drone in weeks. Meanwhile, training a tank crew takes months, sometimes years. Do you see the difference? One side is evolving at the speed of technology. The other is stuck in doctrines from decades ago. And that brings us back to where we started. Those two Abrams waiting in the village. They win that battle, but not because they're invincible. They win because they have support. Drones providing reconnaissance, artillery ready to fire, infantry with anti-tank equipment. Tanks still matter, but only on their own. Well, they're just expensive targets. The real strength comes from cooperation, from multiple systems working together, from information shared in real time, from decisions made faster than the enemy can react. That's 21st century warfare. It's not about which tank is stronger, it's about which system is smarter. And every time a Russian convoy tries to advance, every time a tank goes out alone, this lesson is relearned in the worst possible way, all because they underestimated two tanks that weren't alone. Now, I want to know your opinion. In your view, what will be the future of tanks in modern warfare? Do they still have an important role? Leave your answer here in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, share it with someone who is also interested in military technology and conflict analysis. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.